All right, guys. Sorry for the delay there. Got it running. Okay, I'm just going to read through the hearing script and we'll get started. This is the September 7th, 2022 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220131. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant and the opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they'd have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll give the zoning plans examiner, Doug Owen, an opportunity to provide any testimony in addition to the staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I might close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony that's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present here today. In the event of any technical difficulties, as we've already seen a little bit today, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, let's get you guys sworn in and then we can get started. So if you can raise your right hand, I need you guys to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great. Thanks, guys. All right, Nick, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Nick Lingenfelter. I'm Chief Development Officer for PLK Communities, and I'm one of the owners and a member of the entity today that's applying for the variances at 3924 Cherry Street. You previously saw this case in March of 2021, and the only change from that previous submission was some work with DOTE, where we are providing them 10 feet of right-of-way on all three sides of this property. The fourth side abuts a neighbor, and there's nothing to give them there. So what this resulted in providing them that 10 feet of right-of-way has now forced our two buildings that were separate to be one. Those two, but one primary structure is allowed under the code. We had a variance to go to two primary structures or two principal structures. Ultimately, we're going back to one. The support for creating the last variance was partially related to the fact that it broke up the block. We don't disagree. Unfortunately, we're trying to accommodate DOTE as well. What we are able to do is we're going to step the foundation. It's about a 1 foot grade change. So the foundation will step up, but the roof line will be the same. The reason for our flat roof lines is that ultimately our goal is to have solar cells on these roofs as part of a program with the state of Ohio and the EPA. So we do want to keep the roof as flat as possible in order to accommodate those solar cells and the power that goes back to the residential units. But again, everything else is as we have previously proposed. And the only change here is that we're going from two principal structures to one. We did also present this to the zoning group in our north side as well as the community council last month. And we just provided the original letter that the community had provided us support the first time around.
Okay. So from the previous March 2021 application, this is the relief requested is the same, except you dropped out a building split.
Correct. We're basically undoing a variance that we had previously approved.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can you tell me about the proposed parking? Is that going to be behind this building?
Correct.
Where exactly will the parking?
The majority of the building parking will be behind the building between us and the neighbors, the Dorn Trucking Company. It's an old way station that they have. Those are perpendicular spots to the buildings. There's two rows. One of our variants is actually to have the trash in the corner. We're still working with Rumpke on that solution. They now want 40 feet behind every truck, and I'm not sure how to accommodate that in the city lot, but this was the best solution that we could come up with. So our parking is provided in the rear lot. As part of our agreement with the neighborhood, we're working with DOTE to at least stripe parallel spaces on the road to slow traffic down, because the neighborhood has concerns about the speed of traffic in general on all streets over there. So the parking supporting our project is on our site. Most of these units are around 500 square feet. They're not very large, and they typically support about a 1-to-1 parking ratio, which is roughly equal to what we have at Gantry down the road, which is about a 110.
Okay. Let's see. I think I'll give Doug an opportunity to weigh in here. Doug, anything?
No, I don't have much to add beyond what's in the staff report. I'd agree with what Nick said previously. The main, push behind this change from 2 buildings to 1 was the DOTE requirement for additional right-of-way. So basically that eliminated that space that was needed to separate the 2 buildings. So because that was used as a substantial part of the justification for the original density relief, that it was reviewed by the zoning administrator and determined to be a substantial change from their previous approval. So that is why this is back today. So site conditions all remain the same. This is an unusual lot because it's a through lot. It has frontage on 3 streets. Zoning code determines the shortest of the street frontages to be the front yard. So in that case, we have 2 front yards on this lot on the east and the west. So that's why the parking relief and the refuse storage relief is needed. So that is all the same as in the previous proposal. Only note on the staff report is I did include that condition on the landscaping around the refuse storage area, and that's only because there was not a landscape plan submitted with the application. So I would assume that is still going to be installed as it was originally, but I did want to include that as a condition.
Okay, great. Thanks, Doug. All right. Mr. Lingenfelder, are you planning to install landscaping along the west and north boundary?
So I apologize. I didn't realize those didn't make this submission. I had some of our team helping me here. The permits are already actually filed. They're just waiting on this variance, and then we'll go ahead and issue them. It's our intention to start construction the next 2 to 3 months, and we haven't changed anything since last year other than just merging the 2 buildings.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, I think that's all the questions I have. Anything else in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here?
No, sir.
Okay. So I have had a chance to review the materials and the application materials. I'm familiar with the area. Based on that and testimony I've heard today, I'm going to approve this application. As you know, I need to put that into a written decision. And so I will get that out to you as soon as I can. As soon as I finish it, I put it in a PDF and email it to you directly, so you'll have it just moments after it's complete. Let's see, if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to myself or Doug, or if you just like a status update on the decision, you can reach out to me directly.
Perfect.
All right.
That'd be great.
Well, good luck with the project. Sorry that it's unfortunate that I had to lose that split. I definitely like that better, but good luck to you. Hope it goes well, and yeah, that's it.
Thanks,
Hope you
gentlemen.
all